When you want to be a part of something more, but you don't necessarily know how to find it, or even if there is that kind of community that you're like looking for, you kind of just have to create it yourself. You really have to become what you want to be a part of. Even if that looks like taking a leap of faith, maybe you're not exactly clear how to do that. It might not exactly be, starting up a club or starting up a community. But whenever you want to be part of something that you know is better for you, and you want to be a part of something that is going to help you grow, but it almost seems like there's nothing around you that's allowing you to do that. I think the best way to start and the best way to kind of fix that so that it can kind of manifest itself into reality is by creating that for yourself. I think it's very noticeable to realize, the kind of person you're becoming based on the people you're hanging out with and the people that you're surrounding yourself with. You hear all the time, you're the sum of the five people you hang around with. I'm gonna share my story, for example, because I'm in college and I'm in a fraternity, and you probably know what goes on in fraternity life and in fraternity house. But I lived in my fraternity house last year, and it was an experience. It was an experience to say the least. Most fun I'll never have again. Um, but prior to me living in the fraternity house, I decided that I wanted to commit my life to Christ and I wanted to walk with Christ. And so living in the fraternity house, when I'm around all my fraternity brothers and I'm around people who are drinking and smoking pretty much every day throughout the week, staying up late, a lot of these temptations are kind of just surrounded by me 24/7. And you can imagine how hard it was for me to just stand firm, because it was really hard for me to stand firm in what I wanted to become and the person that I wanted to be. It was hard for me to do that because of what I was surrounded by. And so while I was locked in on, I know what I want, I know who I want to become, because it's a part of me now. It's hard for me to access it because of what I'm surrounded by. And it was almost impossible for me to do that. But the next semester, right, I ended up having this group around me weekly that was there to hold me accountable, that was there kind of on a similar journey to what I was on. And so it was a lot easier for me to be a part of something that it was a lot easier for me to grow into something that I wanted to become, because I had that community around me. And so while I was still living in the fraternity house the second semester, it completely changed because I was more grounded because of the people around me. And I say this because whether that's in your walk with God or you're just trying to better yourself, it's going to be impossible. I think it's impossible for you to do it on your own. I'm not saying it is, but I genuinely think like it's going to be tough. If you don't have people around you that are going to hold you accountable, that are going to tell you when you need to correct errors in your life, or just be able to have people to talk to about these things, it makes all the difference. And especially, as an ambitious young man, like if you're watching this video, you're probably someone who is ambitious and you want more. You just don't necessarily know how to access it because the people around you, they don't feel that or they don't want that. And so when you're around these people that kind of aren't on the same wavelength as you, it's hard for you to grow in your walk. It's hard for you to grow into the person you want to become. You can become, because you feel limited based on what's going on around you, and it really does limit you. And that's why you have to be intentional about who you surround yourself with. Now, sometimes you don't have those people around you, or you don't know how to find those people. But when you can make the effort to stand firm in what you want to become and stand firm in who you are, I think these things will kind of just naturally start to come into your life. The law of attraction, right? You are what you attract, what you are, right? You become what you attract. And when you can fully convince yourself that you are this person, and that fully convince yourself, I saw I just turned off my mic for a second. When you can fully convince yourself that you are this kind of person and that you want this community around you, sometimes you just have to create it yourself. And that's what I've realized is it starts number one with you just setting the example. It starts with you building something based on you showing others that this is what you want. This is what you're passionate about. And this is what you want to be a part of. Because another thought that I just had is that so many people are probably in the same boat as you. They want to be part of something more, but they don't know how to get there, or they're scared to even try something new because they don't see anyone else doing it. But if they see someone like you taking some initiative, they see someone like you starting something that draws to them, that appeals to them, they'll be like, huh, well, I didn't start it, but someone else did. And now I see that other people are just as interested as I am, and other people want more too. And so this is just things that I think are important to think about. They're important to recognize in your life. The people that you're around. You have to be on guard. You have to be on watch. You have to be watchful at all times. Whether that's with what's going on around you or with how you're acting. If you're not aware of how you're acting, if you're not aware of whether you're growing or not, and you're not aware of how these things might be keeping you back, how these things might be holding you back, then you need to do some kind of reflection and think, all right, what am I getting from this? Like, is this really good for me? Is me being around these people, is me giving into these things really going to help me become the person that I know I can become? And sometimes that's just all it takes, is to bring that into existence by setting the standard. You know, maybe that's why you're seeing this video, because you need to be the one to set the standard. I can't tell you how many times myself and the people I know have turned down opportunities or have been scared to step out of their comfort zone because they know what standard needs to be set. They just don't have the motivation or the confidence to do it. And something I've realized is if you're scared to do something, then it probably means it's something you should do. It's probably something you should do if you're that scared about it. Because I think that's where growth happens. Growth happens in the places and in the spaces where they might look scary from the outside. But ultimately, you know it's going to be good for you. You know that it's going to help you grow into the person that you know you can become. So whatever you want in this life, you have to first become it. I think that's just the first rule of everything. If you want to be part of some community, then commit yourself to being that kind of person. And if you don't have that community around you, it will start to come in your life because that's what you're going to attract, because that's the kind of person that you are and that you've decided to become. Anyways, kind of rambling a little bit, but that's my topic for today that I want to share with you all. That you might just have to set the standard, and maybe this is your calling to do that. So, thank y'all for watching this video. I appreciate the feedback, the support, and I'm gonna continue to drop some bangers for y'all. I hope you're enjoying it. But again, thanks so much for the support. Um, Maybe this is your community, and that's what I'm trying to build here for you all, and I really appreciate you being a part of it. So, thank y'all for watching this video. I'll see y'all in the next one.